So last week, I was able to get first place at a 40-man locals down at Project CCG, which is located in California. And the locals is one of the more popular ones around that area. So it was definitely a solid win, I'd say so. And I was piloting Zombie Eldlich. It was only 5 rounds, and there was no top cut, but I did go undefeated. So that was the good part. The matchups were as follows. Round one was True Draco. He opened up Diagram 2 out of the 3 games. Game 2 was Virtual World. 3 was Praying Kids. 4 was Salamangreat. Only Dyro win. And 5th was Sky Striker. So, without further ado, let's get into the profile. So, for starters, we have Triple Unizombie. This is the bread and butter of the deck. I would say this is probably the most important card besides your Eldlich engine. But Unizombie plus Curse Outland is a full combo, and I would say that it is definitely something I don't see that many people doing, which I don't understand why really. It's only 2 cards, and it basically starts up your entire Golden Boy engine as well as your zombie engine, and it has everything on lock. Plus, drawing 2 cards in your opponent's turn last time I knew was pretty good. And for the rest of the zombie package, we play 2 Banshee. She's basically just there to activate Zombie World. There's not much more to say. Her protection effect sometimes comes up. It can happen once. When I was playing against Salamangreat, I had Zombie World up plus a Banshee, and that basically was what stole me the win. And her being 1800 attack sometimes is strong when it's just like when you're just poking. And we have the end of the zombie engine basically. So just 1 Bloom, 1 Baylor Drock. Bloom I wouldn't have to say this card got ashed a good amount of times, which kind of sucked. So it was kind of more difficult to get into Baylor Drock, but when it doesn't, it's just so convenient. Like Bloom just summoning Baylor Drock. Definitely, I would say no more, no less. This is just perfect. Now, this would not be a zombie Eldlich list without Golden Lord himself. Not much to say. I feel 2 is the best ratio in every Eldlich deck. So there's that. And now, the hand traps. This is something I have seen not that many lists play. I run a hand trap count of 8. And my reasoning behind it is when you are drawing 2 cards in your opponent's turns, I want to be able to interact with them and draw into one of these 8. It goes more in depth with that, and I can do later videos on the mathematics side of my decisions and all that. But drawing into one of these hand traps is just amazing. It's happened to me before. This actually happened on a dueling book replay once, and it happened to me in the locals down there. But with the dueling book one, I didn't have a chance to win. I was under 1500. He top decked the Ray, was gonna go into the Hayate to attack directly, and I had Sucker on field, and I had a Sanguine. Sanguine summoned Lord from the grave, and then Sucker drew me the 1 card, and well, I drew the Veiler, and after that I just won. And the amount of times I drew hand traps off of just Sucker, or just, well, no, Sucker's basically the only thing that really allows me to draw consistently. I would see one of these, and honestly, I would not change this up. I prefer hand traps over just regular traps, rivalry, Ice Dragon's Prison, etc., just due to them not being able to get blown out by back row removal. Because I do not like losing to Harpies or cards like Lightning Storm. And hand traps always seem to do something to your opponent. So now with the traps, we play the typical Eldlich stuff. Triple Sanguine, that deserves no explanation. Triple Conch, and just 1 Walkero and 1 for Golden Land Forever. So, in theory and in testing, I never really wanted more than 1 Walkero, and this is all the Eldlich traps. I do not play the Eldlichs, as I said, I do not want to get blown out by back row removal, And instead of the Elixir cards, I decided to opt out for the hand traps. So I also realized I never really want to see Wakero. Like, he doesn't really do much in most of the matchups unless I'm going up against Striker, and even then they just pop it. So it's really not that optimal to say. And most of the times I just send off this one Wakero just to get my engine rolling. He never really comes up. Golden Line Forever. It's a counter trap. It's really good. Once you get it going, it's basically like a guaranteed win at that point. And we play 2 Solemn Strikes. It's Strike. Very good trap card this format. I want to play it at 3, but I've yet to find the room for it. But I'm still trying to theorize with this deck, and I'm pretty sure this might get bumped up to 3 sometime in the future. This is a very good card. And the one of that I saw when I needed it the most, Imperial Order. This card is so sacky. I'm so glad this card is legal. This was a last minute decision to do, basically. I was hoping to not play against Striker, and if I did, I was hoping to see this just so I can have an advantage of that against them. Drew this game too, which was very nice against them. And this also helped me get out of a Mystic Mind lock that I had against that I was under against a Prankets player. This card's amazing. And whenever he conflicts with any of your cards, you can just Golden Lord send him. So he never order really isn't ever a nag in this deck. Now, consistency cards. Triple Eldland. Needed at 3. Would never replace this card at all. The very crucial card. Like I said earlier, Unizombie plus Curse Outland is full zombie combo. More consistency cards. We have 3 Pot of Prosperities. What can I say? This card, I saw this card basically every opening hand. Best card in the deck, I'd say. Gets me to everything I need. Ash bait. Not much to say. Would definitely play this over Extravagance any day of the week. 100%. Such a good card. Then we have Zombie World. 2 of them. Not much to say for the 2 Banshees. We play 2 Super Polys. Just because Zombie World, your Super Poly zombie targets become more alive. And just being able to sometimes resolve it for Mud Dragon and or Starving Venom, I think is also good. The extra deck isn't really too many Super Poly targets, which is why it's only at 2 and not at 3. And the one of Duster, the one of Called by the Grave. No Droplet. Reasoning for that is just due to me realizing that this deck isn't always going to have enough resources for Droplet to always be alive. That's why I opted to play Veiler over Droplet and more hand traps, just due to the resource management. And realistically speaking, this format, Droplet just seems more like a neg. Because the only card Droplet is really that good against, I would have to say, is against Strytron. Because any other deck, Veiler does the same thing. Veiler Imperm, in my opinion, is just the same as Droplet. But obviously, if Dragoon gets more play, I probably am going to put it back in the deck. I'll probably cut Strike. Or the 2 Bells for the Droplet, but I'll just see. Now, for the extra deck. The one of Link Spider. Really want to play more than one sometimes. Extremely good card, just being able to link off your Golden Land traps. But I don't know, I really don't have the space for it. The one of Link Karibo. He's there for the Glow of Bloom when you draw him, or when he's just on field. The Needle Fiber. He's needed for Outland plus Unizombie. The Nightmare Phoenix, back row removal. And 2 Vampire Sucker. So, in theory, you really shouldn't need the other one. But there has been times where I do need the Vampire Sucker in grind games just due to her tributing effect. And sometimes trying to out the Attic Nister Link Dragoon isn't that easy to do in this deck. because I don't play droplets, I opted to play Super Poly, which is realistically my only real out to it. Vampire Sucker really does help that out, because Dragoon can be an issue sometimes. Avenger Slayer, um, he dumps anything. He's good. He's really good when you need to get your engine rolling. This card, Soldier of Chaos. God, I love this card so much. Very, very extremely good card. I do think I don't go into him as much as I probably should, but when he comes up, boy, is he amazing. I would definitely not cut this card ever. um, Underworld Goddess, Adignister Link, Dragoon, things that are hard to get rid of. She comes up very rarely, but when she does, oh boy, it's necessary to have her. Formula Synchron. This is just for needle fiber tag out into formula. Not much to say there. Gustav Max. I actually, this is what actually won me my virtual world matchup. We got into time. He was scooping, and I had two lords on field and detach one. GG. Then the super poly targets just Mud Dragon, Golden Lord, Starving Venom, and the Draco Nether Soul Dragon. And for the side deck, we have Triple Judgment, back row. I don't want to lose a back row, Lightning Storm evenly, etc. And the anti-spell. This is what I cite in going first. Very good cards. Anti-spell really put in work today. So did Judgment. Thanks to Judgment, I was able to beat the virtual world matchup again. Game 2, I won with 250 life points. It was scary. Back row removal. Twin. I would play Lightning Storm. I just think Twin Twisters is kind of a better card for this deck, just due to the fact that, like, you can put your Golden Land traps in the grave and Lord. This card, I hardly didn't even cite it in. There's not much to say. I thought this card would have been more impressive than what it was. It really wasn't. Kind of upset. It's a good card in theory, just I never needed it for any matchup, which was very weird. Then this is a weird choice. DD Crow. This were supposed to be my evenlies, but they didn't get here on time, so I just went in with Crow. Funny enough, this was the best card of the night in my side deck. Striker, Salad, Virtual World. Basically every matchup Crow came in. Looking further on, I don't think I'm going to cut this. This obviously seems like a very good card, which was unexpected. And to round it out, Kaijus. Nibiru is a card, but at the same time, if they just Red Ice Fusion pass, Nibiru isn't doing much, and this is another out for Dragoon. These are basically here for Striker and Dragoon. That's about it.